Hi there YouTube, this is the Magnus bringing you another Total War Warhammer online ladder battle. I want to apologize for not having put out a video in several days. I've been incredibly sick, virtually bedridden, and it seems like the worst behind me and I am likely to survive, which I'm internally grateful for. But you can expect me to be putting out lots of videos as usual. But again, I do apologize. I wish there was some simple way to let my subscribers know. If you know of a way to do that in YouTube, just put it in the comments. I'd really appreciate it. So anyways, I decided to play the vampire accounts tonight and today, and I drew the Empire. And I went with a kind of counter meta build with 2 skeletal spearmen, 3 graveguard, 2 graveguard with great weapon, 1 crypt horror, 2 bloodknight on a horse, and also Manfred von Karstein on a horse. Now the thinking behind this build is, right now with the new units and everything going on, there seems to be a lot of people using corpse carts or Mortis Engine, stuff like that, and so you're seeing a lot of slow, healing focused vampire armies, and a lot of people are building against that. And you'll notice my opponent seems to be doing that with 5 range units up front. The other thing is they seem to be keying on that large unit like the Mortis Engine, so bringing cannons or luminarcs or just any sort of artillery or things that are focused on killing something like that, ranged. So I wanted to go counter meta and build a quicker, more aggressive vampire army. So that's what I did. You'll notice I hid my White King on his horse and the Blood Knight over here on the left, and we'll talk a little bit about why I did that. My opponent brought 4 handgunners, 1 the silver bullets. He brought 4 swordsmen, 4 halberdiers. He has 1 bright wizard, and he has the general of the Empire mounted with his healing potion. Well, actually, I think it's the potion of toughness. That's correct. So he's got a very range-heavy build here, and very inconsequential infantry from the standpoint that, you know, he hasn't brought any great swords. The halberdiers are quite good, but the swordsmen I don't think are going to be able to hang with my boys. So as I am the vampires, I'm going to charge right in with my main line, and I'm going to take these Blood Knights and do a right hook here because I want to see how he's going to react with his halberdiers, and I'm hoping he's going to overreact to that, not knowing these guys are over here in the woods. And as he has no flying or cavalry, I know I can hide these guys in the forest, and he's very unlikely to have any way of discovering them. So he starts pushing his halberdiers out, which I like. Anytime somebody breaks their formation to react to you, you have the initiative in a lot of ways. And here's going to be my mistake of the game is I brought the skeleton spearmen very highly ranked up because I was worried about flyers or cavalry getting into Manfred and breaking me up there. So I should have put them up front since he had neither. But instead I let my poor graveguard with great weapons get absolutely lit up. But in the meantime, I'm continuing my right hook, and you're going to see he starts to pull his halberdiers over. He overreacts. I bring these guys out of the forest, knowing he's distracted moving them and watching what I'm doing over here with my Blood Knights, because you'll notice I keep moving them around a little bit like I'm trying to attempt something. And of course he's also paying attention to the giant contingent of my army. At the last second he's going to realize that he's got some visitors on his right. It's going to be a little too late. None of his men are braced, and the Blood Knights are going to do what Blood Knights do, which is make a bloody mess out of the field. So they get a nice hit in here. He starts trying to pull halberdiers back over. So I leave these guys here till the last second. I let him charge them, and then I'm going to do a left hook around them and get into his center with my Blood Knights. Now, ideally, I do get a flank here. Rear would be better, but I was worried his halberds would be able to catch me. So I figure, hey, a nice flank shot's good enough, and it sure is. The Blood Knights just absolutely wreck the swordsmen. Gonna be a very bad day for those guys. So now I'm pressing on all fronts, and some of his units are fleeing, so you're gonna see I cycle charge on the left. He pulls back his handgunners here to try to reestablish them. I'm not gonna let that happen. He makes a mistake here, which a lot of us make, including myself sometimes. When you grab some of your missile units, you move them all together to one place. what happens is they're right next to each other, and as you see here, my Bloodknights are beating on both of them at the same time, and neither can fire. So that's not a good situation. You're much better off taking your missiles and moving them in different directions, and then forming lines so that they can shoot at the guys who are attacking one of their friends. Now, I'm hunting down the General of the Empire. He's fleeing like the little coward he is. I'm going to pull the Bloodknights back to his other contingent of handgunners, and eventually I'm going to pull these guys in as well. You're going to see the infantry battle up front is so heavily in my favor. He's running out of guys really quickly. Very little's reforming, and when it does, it's getting broken again. Again, two handgunners next to each other being manhandled by my Bloodknights, and these guys are just having a field day. Generally, you want to cycle charge, but when you're dealing with something as weak as a handgunner, you can leave them in there. They're still going to do devastating damage to your opponent. And just like that, we get the big win. You're going to see decisive victory. You don't see that a whole lot. Very little losses, tons of losses for him. All of my infantry did well, including in the Cryptors as well, and the White King. The stars of the show, Manfred von Karstein, put up 126 kills. The Bloodknights just wrecked them, which I'm sure you expected that from watching the video. They really had a field day out there. My opponent, his infantry was pretty inconsequential. Oh, and I apologize. I didn't notice he had two great swords. So I should have mentioned that at the beginning of the video. His handgunners did well on that approach, extremely well. They fired with devastating effect on my Graveguard, but once I got in there with the Cav, with my main body, we were all over them and all over his infantry. He really got swarmed, and I'm very pleased with the result. So you might want to try this as kind of a counter meta build, something like this that's aggressive. If you can get away with it, dropping the Skeleton Spearmen will make things a little faster. But I don't think they're too much slower than Graveguard, if at all. But no zombies, and no giant corpse carts, things like that. Nothing for them to focus on, because if you really think about it, the only unit here that killing would really give him a benefit is Manfred. And when you have him surrounded by skeletal spearmen, and you've got superior cav on the field, and you have crypt horrors right next to him, there's not a whole lot that's going to be able to get to him without taking a lot of casualties. So I definitely like this build. Also, I'd like to mention we reached 100 subscribers. That's fantastic. Thank you so much for the support. I really do appreciate it. It's awesome to know that you guys enjoy the content here. Expect a lot more. I am going to be putting out a 100 subscriber video soon. There will be a giveaway as well. I'm hoping that they will announce the Wood Elves very soon, and we can give that DLC away as our giveaway, because, well, hell, who doesn't want to get to play a new faction in Total War Warhammer? Few things are as exciting, in my opinion. So look for that. Look for more videos. If you haven't already, please subscribe. If you enjoyed the video or you learned something here, please like as well. I look forward to comments on the build. Again, my opponent didn't pick the best army, but I think he was expecting me to go meta, and I went counter meta, and I think that really cost him. So until the next time, this is the Magnus. Thanks, and take care.